America, it's time for the Ringside Wranglers Dirt Sheet. With your host, Has-Been and Jack Jaw.
What's up, wrestling fans? I am Jack Jaw with the Ringside Wrangler Dirt Sheet Report. That is Has-Been. What's up, Has-Been?
How's it going today?
It's going awesome. We did well with the hurricanes down here. It's all good. We're ready to talk some dirt. This week, we've got dirt. Good dirt, bad dirt. It's all dirt. It's good stuff from the world of professional wrestling. We've got who is in Retribution. They're making this stuff as they go along. We've got how unsafe is Nia Jax. We've got what's next for the Demon. We've got former Raw GM WCW Bischoff commenting on Vince and how he's handling business. We got why Aleister turning heel. We've got Wade Barrett back in the WWE family. We've got what plans of retirement for Triple H. And we've got what's going on with the Matt Hardy character in AEW. It looks like it's finally coming around to the original plan. We've got Cody trying to buy trademarks. And we've got, you think you want to heckle a professional wrestler, you better think again. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Has been.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
We got a story. What's up?
Before we get started, I'll turn the engine on to get us going. I just wanted to take a moment and ask everyone to please put in your prayers all those folks in Southwest Louisiana that took a hellacious beating that I've never seen on any Raw or SmackDown or AEW program or ECW for that matter. Took a hellacious beating from Laura this morning, 1 o'clock landfall. And, Lake Charles has a lot of love in my heart because personally I had to work there for a while in my real job. And from a wrestling perspective, Lake Charles Civic Center was always known for huge wrestling shows. Alexandria got hit. That's Red Peas Parish Coliseum, Red River Coliseum. Remember going there one time with Rocky Marcity and going to see Dr. Death wrestle one night, Steve Williams. And, of course, Shreveport, that's the Irish Rainier Boys Club with Bill Watts, Mid-South. That's a lot of wrestling history in those cities. So we do ask that you please keep in your prayers all those folks in that area because they really need it.
Our prayers go out to the people in South Carolina. All right, on to the dirt. We've got details. Retribution. Trying to figure out who is in Retribution. Word is they're making this up as they go along week after week. We don't know who's in there. You're kind of trying to figure out who's in the black outfit or whatever. We've got some names to think about. How about Dominic Dijakovic? Little tidbit on this week, one day recently, with all a gray and white screen. There's Vince. I think it's Vince's brainchild. He's making it as he goes along. That was a great night when they had the chainsaw and they cut up the finger. That was pretty cool. But Dominic Dijakovic puts out a tweet, gets pulled down. Check this one out. It's all black screen, but if you read real close, you zoom in on it. Check it out over there to the right. Guess what it says? We are in control. Right there. That's cooled down. So it looks like Dominic Dijakovic may be part of the Retribution. You've got Dio Madden. You've got Maya Yim. And most recently, the little teaser that they put out at SummerSlam when none other than Roman Reigns hits the ring and does his little spear job to The Fiend, does his spear job to Braun Strowman. He's wearing that shirt. What does that shirt say, Has been? Did you see it? It says, wreck everyone and leave. If that's not a tidbit right there, he's got to be the leader of Retribution. What do you think?
I don't know, but one thing I know is something didn't look right. There's something about that. I know everybody loves the Thunderdome format, but to me it seems like it's a real-life video game. When you have these video games or the PlayStation and the Xbox and all this stuff, you have all these 3D characters of CAD cam characters of people and fans in the crowd. With all these monitors and all, that's exactly what it looks like to me. It looks like a real-life video game that you're seeing. And Roman Reigns, something just did not look right to me when I was watching him. Either he had cosmetic surgery on his teeth or he's got some dental implants, but something just did not look right in his face. I'm serious. I'm not being rude at all. Just something did not look right when I was looking at him. It looked really fake, almost like this video game I was telling you about. In terms of retribution, like you said, Mr. McMahon allegedly he's doing this by the fly of his pants, so to speak. Look, man, we all love the faction angles, back to the Horsemen, the Freebirds. We can talk about this for days and years and weeks and all, but after a certain point, the faction stuff its juice runs out after a while, and I think it's just getting kind of old, and it's time to start unmasking these people and let them do what they want because. I think I speak on behalf of a lot of people. We're getting kind of tired of seeing every week they just beat people down like the NWO did for weeks and months and years until Sting finally came out and did his thing, and they all ended everything, and the NWO imploded into the red, black, purple, gold, green, blue, black, purple, orange, every other color you could think of, which is stupid, but we'll talk about it for another episode. But I just think it's run out its course now, and I really think it's time to unmask these people, and let's just go.
It's going to happen. That guy in the middle, look at that big dude, Dominic. That's got to be him. Who knows? Either way, I'm with you. It needs to wrap up, get some names, put some names on these people's faces, and see what happens. Start having some matches, and let's break this down. Next up on the dirt sheet, we got Nia Jax. Everybody knew that she wrestled tough and hard and stiff, however you want to put it. But word has it that she's being yelled at in the back for being such an unsafe worker. Check out that one right there where she laid her out. Check out the one where she picked up Charlotte Flair. I think she hit her head on the knee and then dropped her on her head right there. Check that one out. If that doesn't give you a bad rap, I don't know what does. So it looks like she's definitely potentially injuring some people. Here's a shot. Look at that one right there, which she laid her out a few weeks ago. I remember that one. Check out the shot on none other than right there. Look at that face job right there. I remember that one. That was rough. There ain't nothing fake about that. So
yeah, the thing with Becky Lynch, that was actually a positive. They made lemonade out of rotten lemons on that one because that's how she was born into the man, and it just took off from there. So that actually worked out. The thing with Kairi Singh, I just think that I can't say that had something to do with her wanting to go back to Japan to be with her husband, but I mean I'm sure it didn't do any favors. And of course, we all know that Road Warrior Animal had no love lost for saying that she did get her, chewed out in the back from certain personnel. And, it's either like a shape up or ship off thing. I don't give a rat's, who you're related to, a.k.a. The Rock. That's not going to save you. If you're not, the golden rule of professional wrestling, and even with me being a mark from the outside looking in, everybody knows the golden rule of professional wrestling is do unto others as they do unto you. If you want to make it a long career in this business, you have to protect your brethren just like they're going to protect you. If you're going to have a perfect match, a great angle, a Ric Flair and a Ricky Steamboat, or Ricky Steamboat and a Randy Savage and all this stuff back in the day, all these matches we talked about were immaculate. Those would have never happened if those two guys would have not taken care of each other. The golden rule in wrestling is if you want to go a long time and make a lot of green, you have to look out for each other. You can't just go in there and be an MMA badass woman, man, or whatever, and just take names or whatever. It's not going to work because eventually it's going to catch up with you. And if people don't beat your rear end backstage, it's going to be career suicide. And she got lucky with Becky Lynch, but she didn't get so lucky with Kairi Singh.
Yeah, no doubt. But you got to figure that, man, that's maybe why she was on a little hiatus a couple weeks ago. Maybe that she served a little suspension for being rough like that. She doesn't have much to lose because ain't nobody picking her butt up, trying to slam her and dropping her and stuff like she's doing other people.
Right.
She's too big of a beast. But either way, hopefully she'll get it in gear because I like her character. Hopefully it'll work its way out and she'll get the message because there's been other wrestlers that have wrestled stiff before and they've worked it out. None other than Mr. Seth Rollins. But either way, Seth Rollins, a one-time victim of Seth Rollins is none other than Finn Balor. Remember that one?
Yep, I do remember that one.
First,
but I mean, you go back to the days of old, me being has-been. I mean, you got Dick Slater and all these dudes that were, and Bob Holly, all in Mr. Wrestling 1, 2, 3. All these dudes did wrestle stiff, and that's just how it was. Sid Vicious was wrestling stiff. I mean, we can go back. We can do another episode just on wrestlers that wrestle stiff, and then sometimes that's what they want to do. But sometimes these people that you get stiff with, they're not going to take it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Nia Jax continues to doing that, and she's doing this feud right now, or this partnership for Payback this weekend, she's going to be with Shayna Blaze, the Queen of Spades.
Yep.
Yeah, Shayna Blaze is going to whip Nia Jax's ass. I can tell you right now, if she gets stupid and tries to get stiff, trust me. Shayna Baszler, Vince McMahon is holding Shayna Baszler back. I do not know why, but whenever you see her come out of her shell and be the real Shayna Baszler, who she is, she's going to kick some you-know-what and take names. Trust me.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, they're on the same team this weekend, so hopefully she'll learn from her partner. So next up, we got Finn Balor. People have been wondering what's going on with him. I was wondering when he left the main card. There's their match right there for this weekend. We jumped right on this. Banks and Bailey. You know that's probably a meltdown coming right there against Baszler and Jax.
Well, hey, you know what? If they could actually they could kill two birds with one stone with this, Jack. If they want to finally have that implosion between the SmackDown champion and the former Raw champion, this is the time to do it right then and there. And then you can also prolong this feud between Baszler and Nia Jax. So if you're going to have a Bailey and Sasha Banks implosion, that's the time to do it. And then you can also cash in on having Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax go for it to see who's going to take on Asuka for the Raw Championship. So they can kill two birds with one stone if they choose to do so, which I'm sure they won't. But in a perfect world, they would.
Real quick to say, I'm real sure they won't. On to Finn Balor. We've been talking about him ever since he went to NXT. We were wondering why he's at the Elite card. Obviously, he got sent down to NXT to bring more value to them. But we've been wondering what's going on. I think only one time since he went back to NXT, he showed up as the Demon character. But word has it, we're wondering what's going on with him. What's he going to do? Future plans do not include the Demon. He will not be the Demon again. He says there are no plans to ever see Demon King again in WWE. No plans have it at all in NXT. It looks like he's over that, doesn't want to do it anymore. Kind of a shock to me because that was pretty cool when he used to come out with all that. Whoa!
I can't see that happening. I mean, I cannot see that happening. Either if he gets paid and he gets put in a position in the WrestleMania or SummerSlam, which are their two biggest pay-per-views, respectively, WrestleMania 1, SummerSlam 2, if he can get booked for a match like that against a big name, Undertaker or Fiend or something, I guarantee you he's going to bring that Demon King character back. Maybe even his retirement match would be the Demon King character. They were doing the same thing with Bray Wyatt and the Fiend for a while. You'd only see the Fiend on certain times. Now they kind of shoving the Fiend down your throat, which I really don't like that. I don't know about you, but I like when they hold these special characters for like really unique times. Like there was a situation where Finn Balor couldn't win a match to save his life, and he had to bring out the Demon to actually win a match, and he did. And Bray Wyatt it lost the matches for a while, and then he ends up bringing out the Fiend, and he wins. But when you see these people on TV every week, it kills the buzz, it kills the vibe, it kills the excitement level. So I personally think that I don't agree with him respectfully. I believe that the Demon King will come back at some point, either for a huge match at WrestleMania or SummerSlam, or maybe his last match. And if I were WWE, I'd kind of limit how many times we see the Fiend too, because now the Fiend's becoming a weekly attraction, and it loses all of its aura whenever you see all that awesome entrance with the red spotlights and the red background, and it's on a SmackDown show. No disrespect to SmackDown, but I mean that needs to be reserved for a huge pay-per-view. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's good. But they had to use it this weekend when they went there. There's Finn Balor right there in a lesser state right there. NXT. He's a mid-carder at best on NXT. He's not even. I don't think he's even been the NXT champion since he went back there from Raw. He's just supporting other guys. So he's a mid-carder at best.
But I do appreciate, and I have nothing but respect and ultimate respect for him, because what he's doing, in a sense, is kind of like sacrificing his in-ring career for the betterment of the future, the stars of NXT. You don't have enough people. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians in WWE right now, and Finn Balor is being humbled enough, and I respect the hell out of him for it, to be an Indian and go out there and I mean, he's a tremendous athlete, the Demon King. He could make millions of dollars, probably has made it, and he could be the champion. He was the first champion for a while, the Universal Champion, things of that sort, but he's putting all that aside to go and be a trainer and teach the youth and the future of the WWE and NXT how to do it right and not come out of there sloppy like a Nia Jax and hurt people. And with that being said, I respect the living hell out of Finn Balor. He'll probably never see this. He'll probably never hear it. I don't really care. I'm just telling you, I respect the hell out of him for what he's doing.
I'm with you. Hopefully he can get back on the Raw or SmackDown brand. Heck, they're bringing everybody else from NXT. Why not bring him back up? And it may take a big bam of him being the Demon King to show up. But either way,
you got Wade Barrett coming back on commentary. He's still got his boots and trunks, and he could easily get back in the ring too. So there you go, Wade Barrett and Finn Balor. That's two people that could easily lace them up and get back in the WWE ring. No questions asked, no ring rust, nothing. They're just genetic talent.
All right, next up on the dirt, we've got Eric Bischoff. I love Eric Bischoff, always have. I loved him in WCW. I liked him for a little while in WWE. Maybe it was WWF. I think it was always WWE that he was there. But either way, I like when he calls out Vince on something, an opportunity that Vince missed. This week, he's calling out the opportunity that Vince missed with doing all the red stuff, like you said, pay-per-view quality, the Fiend showing up. And it was just like he comes out, stands there, and Vince does nothing. And it just like he just sits there, and then out comes another wrestler. So in my mind, just like Eric Bischoff says, he missed the opportunity right there. The whole scene was just like odd. He just looked at him, and then word has it in the back, Bray Wyatt / Fiend is really, really pissed at Vince because it looks like the Fiend is going to be a 1 week champion. He's going to lose it at Payback, most likely, to who do you think?
Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Roman Reigns. So it looks like Bray Wyatt Fiend is pissed. What do you think?
Man, that's another show we could talk about because I do respect Roman Reigns because of his past medical issues and wanting to be with his family with his COVID stuff. He had every right to sit out, and he felt that he'd only be comfortable when they got back to a bigger arena, which the arena where they I think it's the Amway Center, the home of the Orlando Magic basketball team, which we will never hear that name. It's the Thunderdome, but in reality, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Amway Center, the home of the Orlando Magic basketball team. But in terms of wrestling, it's the Thunderdome, and I'm still waiting for Mad Max to show up. By the way, no pun intended.
That's right.
But I understand the fact that Roman Reigns would take some time off with his family because of his medical condition. It's fine. And now he's back in a bigger arena where there's more square footage and more space for social distancing. And it's all cool. But, man, you got to feel for Bray Wyatt because he's always been a team player. He fought through the COVID stuff. He didn't sit back no matter what. And for him to be a transitional champion, which is exactly what it is. It's a transitional champion when you go from one, take a week, and then you lose it that week later. Bray Wyatt is not a transitional champion. Wyndham Rotunda is not a transitional champion. The Fiend is not a transitional champion. And all three of those people are the same. Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, and the Fiend are all the same person. And none of those people are transitional champions. Getting back to your situation with Mr. Bischoff, I agree with him 100%. The whole thing, I just don't believe that it was handled right. I mean, remember when Steve Austin came in the ring one time with that toy gun and he put it up to Vince's head and Vince was kneeling down and he pushed he pushed the trigger and it said bang 316 and Vince pissed his pants and he said, oh, bang 316 means Vince pissed his pants. They made a huge angle out of it. It was great. I remember when the Big Show, Paul White, showed up in a match against Stone Cold. I mean, Stone Cold was mouthing, that's a big effing SOB, you know. At least he made it look good. When Kane showed up, people were like, make these the wrestler who would show up, that like when Kane and Big Show showed up, whoever was in that ring that they were going to beat up, that particular person always say something like, you know, they'd mouth like, that's a big effing SOB or something like that where you could read their lips. Where they at least sold it. He didn't even sell it. So I agree with Bischoff. I mean, if you're going to go in there, at least, you know, piss your pants like you do with Austin or take like I know he's an old, Mr. McMahon's an elder gentleman. You got to take care of him like you should always do. He is the company owner. But I mean, Bray Wyatt took care of Sister Abigail, you know, Alexa Bliss, when he did the Mandible Claw. I'm sure he could do the same thing with Mr. McMahon, no harm, no foul. But I agree with Mr. Bischoff. It was a lost opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. Next on the dirt, we'll see. Kind of sucks that the Fiend's going to be a 1 week champion if it goes down that way. Who knows? But I look for Roman Reigns to win this weekend and be the champ coming back. Next up, you got to wonder, I think I saw this coming right there. Aleister Black turning heel. Comes out there. Obviously, he's got the eye injury from the other heel, Seth Rollins / Buddy Murphy, the disciple. Comes out there, doesn't want to answer any questions. And you're wondering why did Aleister Black finally turn heel? Well, guess what? We think at the Ringside Wrangler dirt sheet, we think he came back to turn heel because right there, your man Kevin Owens needed an opponent. Kevin Owens lost his opponent because Rey Mysterio is back in the fold. So Rey Mysterio is going against Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was originally paired up with Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens needed an opponent. Kevin Owens being the face. Looks like Aleister Black has to be the heel. I don't know when this match is going to go off, but I like it either way. Aleister Black as a heel, I think that's better anyways. What do you think?
It could, yeah, I agree with you 100%. It very well could be at Payback this Sunday. It could be on Raw Monday night. I agree with you. Kevin Owens right now is playing the baby face. Personally, I think both of these guys are better heels, in my opinion, but somebody's got to play the face, so Kevin Owens is graciously going to do it. One thing about Aleister Black, though, he's really hot right now, and I'm glad that Mr. McMahon's giving a push. His wife, real-life wife, Zelina Vega, I mean, by the way, she's super hot just off the record, but she's really doing good right now, too. So
now.
Yeah, it's on the record now. But I'm very, very pleased for both of them because they are two very professional athletes, and I'm glad. It's always good to see a husband and a wife in real life have success. You know, I wish Rusev and Lana could have done it. Didn't work out for whatever reason, but I'm glad that this new power couple, because even the Miz and Maurice had success while they were married, so it's good to see this new power couple being Zelina Vega and her real life husband Aleister Black make it happen in the ring. It's good to see that.
Probably best to keep them separated. So, but either way, I mean, I'm not really sure why your boy and why he's not on the card anymore at all. He's let go in April, and his wife's still sticking around because I think she's terrible for wrestling. I think terrible. I need to dig up some dirt on her. That's what I need to do. I think there's got to be some out there. Either way, I think there is. I think I've read something. It just wasn't worthy enough of coming on the dirt sheet, but I'm going to find some worthy enough stuff to tell you about Lana. Lana's got to get some dirt. I'm going to find it. That y'all's going to find it. Next up, you mentioned it a minute ago, we got Wade Barrett. I tune in NXT. I hear the Wade Barrett's voice. I immediately go, that's Wade Barrett. I wonder what happened at NWA. I'm glad he's back. I like his voice. I like his commentary. I like him as a wrestler. What was the group he was with when he came from NXT?
It was Nexus, wasn't it?
That's it, Nexus. That's right. So there he is right there, Wade Barrett. He's part of the NXT. And if you don't think he's part of it full time, check out the roster on the WWE website for NXT. He's listed on the roster. So he's legit. He's in the fold. So look for him to be there week after week. I'm kind of stoked about it. At some point, he probably will wrestle again. I'm not really sure what the injury was, what he had a while back to keep him, when he left. I'm certain there was probably some injury, but I thought he was a great heel. Either way, look for exciting things from none other than Wade Barrett. But he is definitely in the fold for weeks to come, hopefully indefinitely. You like Wade Barrett?
It's another good reason, Jack, that it's always good in real life and our jobs in the real world and in the professional wrestling sports entertainment world, regardless. It's always good to never burn a bridge. I mean, Wade Barrett left parted on good terms for whatever reason. Finn Balor's on good terms. So if they ever need to be called back up to the main roster for any reason, I don't see it being a problem. And watching me be wrong, as I always am, because I'm like Roddy Piper, God bless his soul. Just when you think I know the questions, they're going to change the answers. But don't be surprised if Wade Barrett and or Finn Balor come back and no questions asked, because they both had good relationship with Triple H and Mr. McMahon, who are the two brain men of the business.
Yeah. I'm with you. Next up, I got some clickbait. This is clickbait for you. I read this week. Triple H plans to retire. Of course, I'm clicking on that to find out what's going on with that.
Nope. I'm going to stop you right there, because I was thinking about this before, about 30 minutes before we started this program. I was on your rundown list. Ric Flair, a long time ago, did a cocaine-induced tirade in the ring where he said, I'm never going to retire. I'm never going to retire. Triple H is never going to retire either. He is going to be the interim. He's going to be the interim coach of the WWE when Mr. McMahon either passes away or gives it to him. Regardless, he's going to be the interim new manager, the new brains of the WWE. And he will always, to the day he dies, be medically and physically fit to put the boots on if he needs to step in, just like Mr. McMahon did for years and years with the Austin feud and Rock feud and everybody else. He'll always be ready to lace him up, put the tights on, and get in that ring and make it happen, because he's a genetic freak. He's in tremendous physical condition. He's in very good relationship with his real-life wife, Stephanie McMahon, and his father-in-law, real-life Mr. McMahon. He's going to be the heir apparent to the reins of the WWE, so no, he ain't never going to retire. Trust me. Well, never. Just like Mr. Ric Flair.
I thought to dig up some old Triple H footage. Remember that right there?
Yeah.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
I remember when he was in WCW as Paul Levesco, whatever. Remember, I'm the has-been. So, yeah, I remember all that stuff. He ain't never going to retire, just like Ric Flair's never going to retire.
I thought it was a one step closer to possible retirement, that he wasn't booked on the WrestleMania. Even before when it was going to be in Raymond James, he wasn't on that card. So it looks like he's more that guy right there behind the scenes at NXT, pushing talent, helping talent, pushing the shows, pushing the storyline. So I'm looking for him to be more in that angle right there as the NXT boss, NXT pusher, whatever you want to call him. You know, it's going to be a shock to me if he does circle back around. But you're right. At any given time, a match could be made. Somebody could come back. I'm certain he probably has one more person he really wants to fight or really wants to be in the ring with. So when that time comes, you're right. He's going to be back in the fold. But he's just possibly somewhat retired from in-ring activity. But he has been quoted saying that if he does not get back in the ring, he's not going to mind that.
He also was quoted as saying that he is unofficially retired from the business, but just like I told you, he may be wearing the suit right now and he shaved his head to get the long hair off, but the guy is a genetic freak. He's in phenomenal physical condition. I'm certainly jealous as hell of him, as I'm sure a lot of other guys are as well. It's not any problem for him to put the tights on, lace the boots up, and get in that ring, and he's gold. He can do it. He's got the bug bitten with him. He's just like Nature Boy Ric Flair. It doesn't take him long. He has no ring rust. If he ever decides to leave NXT and take over WWE full-time when Mr. McMahon passes away or whatever the case may be, it's no problem for him to hand off the reins to Lord Steven Regal or someone of that sort to take over NXT, because I believe Regal is the general manager, if I'm not mistaken, in NXT. There's no problem for that to happen, and then he can go ahead and take over the reins. If I'm not mistaken, Shane McMahon is now taking over full-time on Raw, which frees it up for Brother Love to do the SmackDown show, because Bruce Pritchard's getting well overwhelmed with have Raw and SmackDown. You put Shane McMahon solo on Raw, which is kind of why you see in the Underground thing. That's part of his creation, which I like, by the way. You put Bruce Pritchard, Brother Love on SmackDown. You got them going that. Triple H can oversee it. You can have Lord Regal take over NXT or whomever, and dude, we're good to go.
Yeah, I'm good.
Now, but again, that probably ain't going to happen because it's too easy. You see, the thing is, in the wrestling business, it's no secret. Anybody, you don't have to be a outside mark like we are. It's very easy to know. Whenever something is too easy to happen, it ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Don't know why. It's frustrating as hell, but it just ain't going to happen.
Yeah, you got it. Next up on the dirt, we've got Matt Hardy. You remember when that sucker came into AEW, you're trying to figure out where he's going to go. You know he's going to go right after the Inner Circle, but we got word this week on the original plan, and it's finally coming to be. How long has he been in AEW? About a year already? Has it been a year already?
Yeah, I believe so.
So he joins. He's part of the Elite going against the Inner Circle. They have the Double or Nothing pay-per-view where they fight in the ring. So everybody's thinking his whole purpose of being there is to fight Jericho, which stood the reason. But, you know, he didn't want to fight an older person like himself. He wanted to fight young blood. So it looks like it's finally coming around. He's finally getting his match. He's finally getting his feud angle, whatever, with Sammy Guevara. So that looks like it was where it was going all along. So I look for that angle to go on for a while. Sammy Guevara, you know, and then it heats up a couple weeks ago when Sammy Guevara uses the wrong chair, lays out Hardy, and now Hardy has got this thing. Hardy, even part of the storyline, Hardy was saying Sammy Guevara needs to be fired for that whole chair thing. But you know what? That was just an angle. So right there, that was the original plan. Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara, that looks to be a good angle to future to come. So I look for them to build on that. So it looks like in real life, it seems like he's mostly forgiven the Spanish God. But either way, I look for that. What do you think of that angle? Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara, they've been building it for a while.
Yeah, I remember he first came in to feud against Le Champion, Chris Irvine, a.k.a. Chris Jericho, and it did work for a while. But listen, we again going back to being the outsider on looking in from the outside, smart mark that we are. When you have these factions like this, they can't stay forever. I mean, we've been waiting for the New Day breakup for a long, long time, and at some point, it's got to happen. I mean, I understand that it's working good, but if you bleed the turnip too much, there ain't no more turnip left. So at the end of the day, they're going to have to break up the New Day at some point. The Inner Circle is going to have to break up at some point. I mean, these guys can't stay together forever. I could easily see Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy forming an alliance because Matt Hardy apparently likes Guevara. Maybe he sees something out of him. Maybe he sees him as he sees something in Guevara that he saw in himself when he and his brother Jeff were starting out with WWE 20, 30 years ago, okay? Would not surprise me to see something like that happen. The Inner Circle is going to have to break up. You know, the Cowboy, who's the half of the tag champions, with Kenny Omega. They've been teasing how long it's going to be before he probably makes a breakup, or maybe maybe Kenny's going to go heel for a while. They've been teasing all this stuff. So at some point, these factions are going to have to break up, and this would be a perfect opportunity for Matt and Sammy Guevara to get together, or maybe the Cowboy or Kenny Omega breaking up or something of that sort. But again, it sounds good. It looks good. It all makes sense. Guess what's going to happen? It ain't going to happen. Never, ever going to happen.
You mentioned the New Day. I'm telling you, New Day breaks up when what's his name comes back from injury.
Woods.
What's that? Is it? I think when Woods comes back, that's when he's going to be joined. Think everybody's coming back to the family, and that's when he's going to lay him out.
But again, it makes too much sense. You see, whenever Woods comes back from his injury and Kofi Kingston comes back together, they can easily turn on Big E and say, hey, you forgot about us, or you too good for us, or you think you're better than us, whatever. Again, it all makes sense, but again, just when you think you know the questions, they go and change the answers, and the infamous words of the late Rowdy Piper, God bless his soul. It always happens every freaking time.
Yep. Next up, we got Cody Rhodes. Everybody, I follow the story on Cody Rhodes trying to get his name back. Cody Rhodes. He can only use Cody because WWE owns Cody Rhodes. Also, Cody Rhodes is trying to trademark the American Dream.
And he should. He should. Let me ask you a question. Does the WWE own Nature Boy?
Probably not. He had it before that.
So if they don't own, when you think of the word Nature Boy, do you think of Buddy Rogers? No disrespect to Buddy Rogers, because he's the one that started this. I know that Buddy Rogers started that. I know that, okay? But with all due respect to Buddy Rogers, when the modern day wrestling fan hears the word Nature Boy, who do you think of?
Ric Flair.
Okay? When you think of the word, when you hear the phrase American Dream, who do you think of?
Dusty Rhodes.
So there are certain names, certain gimmicks. The Rock, the People's Champion. When you hear certain names like that, they will always be attributed to one person. Okay, and that's just the way it is. And I hope Mr. McMahon understands that, because that's just the way it goes, man. That's just the way it goes. You don't see other football teams that mascots are tigers. When the fans go gold, they don't spell it Geaux. That's LSU. It's always been LSU. It always will be LSU. So is American Dream being Dusty Rhodes, Nature Boy being Ric Flair, People's Champion being The Rock. That's just the way it goes. Cerebral Assassins, Triple H. You'll never have anybody else use those names. Yep. And I don't care who the hell they think they're doing. Them trying to trademark that. You know what they're doing? They are jealous, and they're trying to find a way to stick it to Cody, because they don't like the fact that Cody started AEW, and they sure the hell don't like the fact that AEW is a legitimate threat to WWE. Yes, I said it. I ain't drunk. I ain't high. I know what I'm saying. AEW is a legitimate threat to WWE, and Cody Rhodes has a hell of a lot to do with that.
Yep. I don't think WWE has the trademark. I think he's just trying to get it overall, and it's just too generic of a term. There's so much stuff in life that's called the American Dream.
No, absolutely not.
We'll see.
Absolutely not. The heartbeat of America. Everybody thinks that's Chevrolet. Hell no. The heartbeat of America is Dusty Rhodes. American Dream's Dusty Rhodes. Nature Boy is Ric Flair. People's Champion is The Rock. That's just the way it goes.
Well, that's probably Cody's argument.
You ask 9 people out of 10 on the street anywhere in the United States, who's the Nature Boy? Oh, Ric Flair. Who's American Dream? Heartbeat of America. Ain't Chevrolet. Hell no. It's Dusty Rhodes, Virgil Reynolds. Who's the People's Champion? That's The Rock. Who's the Cerebral Assassin? That's Triple H, Paul Levesque. Man, these people know that. They know that. I'm telling you, man, it's a jealousy in trying to get back and stick it to Cody Reynolds, whose real name, Virgil Reynolds' son, Cody Reynolds. They're trying to stick it to Cody Reynolds because he was a major brainchild in getting AEW started. And AEW, again, it's the last time I'll say it, I promise, but I'm doing it for emphasis. AEW is a legitimate threat to WWE right now, and I like that because I love competition. That's why I'm a husband. When was the wrestling business as hot as it ever was? When WCW had the 86 winning streak going against Raw, right? That's when it was good. And what did McMahon do? He killed it. He killed the competition. What happens when you kill competition? It becomes very, very, very complacent. It gets stale. And that's the worst thing that can happen in the world is no competition, because it doesn't keep you fresh. You become complacent. You become stale. And then that's when people just turn it off on Mondays, turn it off on Fridays. They're sick of it.
We ain't turning it off. Looks like
we have a job to do. We can't turn it off.
Has-Been's got it going on. He's a little fired up. Either way, next up, we got to end the dirt sheet this week with a funny story. One thing you know, if you think you're going to talk smack, you're going to get one over on a professional wrestler, you better think again. Check out this dude right there. Your guy Dax Harwood of FTR / The Revival shows up. He's going to be on. Excuse me, Vicky Guerrero's podcast right there. Some guy comes on there, comments to Dax saying, "How does it feel to be such a weird loser? How does it feel to be on the show opposite of WWE that's in the top spot?" Dax Harwood didn't wait a second. He calls this dude out, who's none other, goes by the handle, and we're going to call this because it's public information. We'll put it out there. He goes by Super Elite 6711. Buddy Lee gets called out by Dax Harwood. Dax Harwood says, "Hey, buddy, how does it feel to be such a weird loser that you've tweeted me multiple times, no response, and you're so lonely, your profile picture on Twitter is two girls, Bailey and Sasha Banks, that you fantasize that these are your significant other. How weak is that?" So, man,
dude,
Harwood made
all I have to say to that, I'm going to, in the words of my hero, my mentor, my favorite wrestler of all time to the day he dies and the day I die, Nature Boy Ric Flair, I'm going to quote my hero, my idol, Ric Flair, in response. Dax should have told that dude, "Okay, guess what? You need to shut your mouth because my shoes cost more money than you make in a week."
There you go. But either way, hey, maybe his Twitter profile blew up because he was mentioned and he just did it for that reason. But I'll tell you right, I don't want to get embarrassed by a wrestler. If I'm in the wrestling game, I like wrestling. Next thing you get called out. But I guess he can tell his friends, "Look at Dax Harwood called me out. Called me out. So, hey, he knows who I am." So either way, I thought that was pretty funny, pretty lame that you've got your profile picture of two female wrestlers and your name's Buddy Lee. Come on, man. Any final comments? Has-Been?
Yeah, wasn't Buddy Lee one of the? Wasn't Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker? Wasn't he one of the trainers at the power plant? I think. See, I'm going back on my Has-Been gimmick now. I think Buddy Lee was Colonel Buddy Lee Parker was one of the trainers of the old WCW power plant. You copying a wrestler's name. You're putting two WWE females on there. I mean, that sounds like a 12-year-old, man. That's something that sounds like a 12-year-old to me. I don't know, man. I'm a little freaked about that. I will do this. Okay, in closing, we're recording this on Thursday. AEW will be on tonight. AEW's on tonight. WWE will have their Payback pay-per-view on Sunday. Probably going to have, like you said, Roman Reigns is probably going to beat the Fiend and make it a transitional championship, which I think is garbage. So, and again, I just want to close with this. For all the folks in Southwest Louisiana and East Texas, Southeast Texas, Arkansas, who were affected by, and in Shreveport, Alexandria, the whole west side of Louisiana, east side of Texas, Gulf Coast, and in Arkansas, please keep them in your prayers because they really need your help right now. That was one hell of a hurricane. I mean, it was a Cat 4. It was 7 miles an hour short of a 5. You see how Brock Lesnar's F5 feels. That's how those people felt after Laura came through. So
definitely nature's wrath. This either way, I'm Jack Jones. This has been the Dirt Sheet. Check us out weekly. We come on and we talk about dirt, give you the backstory of what's going on in pro wrestling. Either way, check us out. Like and subscribe on our YouTube. Reach out to us, Facebook, comment. Who knows what we'll push back at you. Comments, we throw out free sponsored gifts to you sometimes. Who knows? I'm Jack Jaw. That's Has-Been. We are the Ringside Wranglers, and this has been the Dirt Sheet. Thanks for being on.
God bless Lake Charles. Go Magnique State Cowboys.